What does the St. George's Cross mean to you? Is it a symbol of home, of history, or simply a familiar sight in your community? Across England, flags flutter above bustling streets and quiet greens, connecting us all. We each have our own story, our own reasons for pride. So what does national pride mean to you? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start this conversation together. Have you noticed it? I certainly have. All across this great nation, from the rolling hills of the Cotswolds to the bustling streets of our northern towns, something wonderful is happening. More and more I see the St. George's Cross flying proudly from windows, pubs and flagpoles. This isn't some government mandate or a directive from a distant bureaucrat in Whitehall. No, this is a grassroots movement, a spontaneous welling up of pride from the very heart of the English people. They call it Operation Raise the Colours, and it represents a quiet, dignified yet powerful reclamation of our national identity. It is a simple act, yet it speaks volumes about who we are and what we believe in. It is a message to the world, and more importantly to ourselves, that we are not ashamed to be English. This movement is not about aggression or jingoism, despite what the sneering metropolitan elite might tell you. It is about love. It is about a deep and abiding affection for our homeland, our history, and our way of life. The flag is the ultimate symbol of that love. The St. George's Cross is not merely a design, it is the woven history of our nation. Every thread tells a story of courage, sacrifice, resilience. It represents the very soul of England. Think of the knights, the common soldiers defending this island from invasion. Think of the explorers who carried it to the farthest corners of the globe, not as conquerors, but as pioneers of trade and ideas. Think of the ordinary men and women who have gathered beneath it at moments of great national celebration, coronations, sporting victories. It has been a constant presence, a silent witness to our triumphs and our tribulations, a symbol of our enduring character. To fly it is to connect with that long and storied past. This flag is a powerful emblem of our shared heritage, a heritage that the self-loathing academics and activists are so desperate for us to disown. They want to teach our children that our history is nothing but a catalogue of shame. They are wrong. It is more than just cloth and thread. It is the very fabric of our national identity. At the very core of our English identity lie three pillars that have supported our society for centuries: God, family, freedom. These are not old-fashioned ideas to be discarded. They are the timeless foundations upon which everything we hold dear has been built. Take them away, and the entire structure of our nation begins to crumble. Our national story is inextricably linked with the Christian faith. It has shaped our laws, our morality, our art, our music, and our language. The very idea of compassion for the weak and the principle that all are equal in the eyes of the Creator. The family is the first and most essential building block of any stable society. It is within the family that we first learn the values of love, duty, and responsibility. It is where we are taught right from wrong, where we learn to care for others, and where we find the unconditional support needed to face life's challenges. Strong families create strong communities, and strong communities create a strong nation, and to commit oneself to their defense against all who would seek to tear them down. There is a natural and healthy instinct in all of us to want to protect our own. We want to protect our families, we want to protect our homes, we want to protect the communities in which we live. This is not bigotry, it is not prejudice, it is common sense. Local people who have lived in a town or village for generations have a deep connection to their surroundings. They know its history, they know its rhythms, they know its character. They have a vested interest in seeing it remain safe, pleasant and cohesive. To dismiss their concerns about rapid, uncontrolled change as backward-looking intolerance is arrogant and deeply unfair. It is the right of every community to preserve its unique identity. When local people express worries their communities are changing beyond recognition, they are often shouted down and labeled with dreadful names. Defending local life is not about excluding others. It's about preserving what makes a community worth belonging to. It is our right to want to protect our communities and our responsibility. Whether you are a devout churchgoer or not, it is an undeniable historical fact that Great Britain is a Christian country. Our nation was forged in the crucible of Christian belief. Its values have permeated every aspect of national life for well over 1,000 years. Compassion, forgiveness, charity, the inherent dignity of every human being. These are not random developments, they are the direct legacy of our Christian heritage, embedded in common law, embedded in institutions, embedded in the national conscience. To pretend otherwise is dishonest historical revisionism. These values are our moral compass. They've guided us through dark times and inspired some of our greatest achievements. William Wilberforce and his Christian faith. The campaign to abolish the slave trade, Christian charity, led to the first hospitals, schools, almshouses, creating a safety net for the poor long before the welfare state. And ensure these timeless values guide and inspire future generations. Let me be absolutely clear from the outset. Sensible, controlled immigration has, throughout history, brought benefits to this country. People who have come here legally with a genuine desire to contribute and become part of our national story have enriched Britain in so many ways. We have welcomed them, and in turn they have embraced our way of life. The problem we face today is not with immigration itself, but with the scale and nature of it, and the complete and utter failure of the political establishment to insist on one crucial, non-negotiable principle: integration. For a multicultural society to work, there must be a dominant common culture that everyone, regardless of their background, can subscribe to. For too long, we have been sold the lie of multiculturalism, which in practice has meant state-sponsored division. It is a doctrine that encourages immigrant communities to live separate lives, to remain apart from the mainstream, and to cling to the customs of their countries of origin. That can only happen when we have the courage to say that coming to Britain means becoming British, and that requires a profound respect for our traditions. We must manage our borders responsibly to ensure safety, legality, and orderly migration. Small boat crossings of the Channel present complex humanitarian and security challenges. They raise important national security considerations. They can also place pressure on local public services. This affects millions of law-abiding residents who expect fair and effective policy, including legal migrants who follow the rules and contribute to our communities. Sovereign nations have the right to control their borders and immigration. Securing borders is a fundamental responsibility of any government. Effective border management helps protect our national interests and future. Repeated landings can undermine public confidence and create unease. Communities understandably worry about unknown arrivals and their backgrounds. Not all arrivals fit the same profile. Careful assessment is needed. Some journeys are facilitated by criminal smuggling networks profiting from vulnerable people. Without proper checks, it's hard to verify backgrounds or intentions. These concerns are based on documented reports and official data. When the state cannot guarantee safety, public trust is eroded. Local communities often bear significant strains that need addressing. Using hotels for temporary accommodation can place heavy burdens on local services. Protecting our communities begins with secure, humane, and lawful border policies. For years, a relentless campaign has been waged to smear patriotism and equate it with the darkest impulses of humanity. If you wave your country's flag, you're a bigot. If you express pride in your nation's history, you're a xenophobe. If you believe in secure borders, you're a racist. This is a deliberate and cynical tactic employed by those who despise the very idea of the nation-state and wish to replace it with a borderless, globalized world governed by unelected elites. They use these slurs to shut down debate, to intimidate people into silence, and to make ordinary, decent folk feel ashamed of their natural love for their country. We must reject this toxic narrative with all our strength. Patriotism has absolutely nothing to do with hate. In fact, it is the exact opposite. Patriotism is about love. It is love for your home, your people, your culture, your way of life. It is a positive, unifying force. It is the bond that connects people from different backgrounds, classes, regions, into a single national family. It is what inspires us to work together for the common good, to contribute to our society, and to want the best for our fellow citizens, and the key to a brighter future for Britain. The time for apology is over. The time for cowering in the face of criticism has passed. Now is the time for every man and woman who loves this country to stand up and be counted. We stand on the shoulders of giants, the inheritors of a magnificent legacy of freedom, democracy, and courage. For too long we have allowed a small but vocal minority to dictate the terms of our national conversation, to chip away at our confidence, and to make us feel guilty for the very things that should be our greatest source of pride. No more. The quiet people of England are finding their voice, and it is a voice that will not be silenced. This is a call for unity. We must put aside our petty differences and come together under the banner of the St. George's Cross. It does not matter where you live, what job you do, or who you voted for in the last election. What matters is that you believe in England and want to see it prosper. We must unite in defense of our shared values, our belief in family, our commitment to our communities, our respect for our Christian heritage, and our unshakable love of freedom. The future is in our hands. And like and subscribe to Smarter Brains for more engaging deep dives into breaking news, politics, sociology, economics, and social policy. Be part of Operation Raise the Colors. Comment below with your thoughts, share your pride, and let your voice be heard. Join the movement. Your story matters.